Hi, my name is Jessica Monge and I'm a therapist, matchmaker, and mental health coach. But today I'm going to be talking more on a personal story. By the time you see this video, I'll hopefully be out of surgery, and the surgery that I'm having is called endometriosis excision surgery. And I'm going to get to the root of everything. I'm going to talk about how I got diagnosed, what the surgery is about, and all that jazz. But while I was thinking about this, I was thinking about how fast and crazy everything's happened for me to get to this point. I think I'm very lucky because it was nothing short of a miracle for me to get to where I am today and be able to have scheduled my surgery date this year. I dealt with a lot of illnesses where doctors have told me that I'm fine, I'm healthy, nothing comes back in the reports, everything is negative. So at one point I'm just like, okay, so are all the pains and aches that I have just made up in my head? I'm glad that I'm healthy, but I'm in pain. And so doctors would just kind of brush it off and be like, you're fine, or send me off to another doctor and do more tests. It gets exhausting going from doctor to doctor, being told that there's no answers, being told I need to do PT or physical exercises for the rest of my life for certain things like my pain on my shoulder blade or my lower back pain that really feels like my tailbone and the bone right above it and the spine are just smushing each other and like squishing each other and just rubbing against each other. I feel the bones just aching. Let me tell you first all the symptoms that I've exhibited that I did not know were endometriosis symptoms. First are the painful periods. I would have to have heat pads, take like 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen, pass out, get pale, couldn't work, had to call out of school or work, whatever the case may be. Cramps like you can't even imagine, PMSing like you can't even imagine. Horrible period. Last year, so around April of 2022, I started exhibiting pain right here where I would say I think it's my fallopian tube, my left fallopian tube area. It started feeling like excruciating pain when I was working out and stuff. So I asked my personal trainer, I'm like, is this normal? They're like, no. And she was very knowledgeable in a lot of things when it comes to women's health. So I went to my gyno. And they're like, oh, we don't see anything wrong. We don't have any cysts. Everything's negative. It may be that you're passing a larger egg than usual this cycle. Okay, cool. But then it happened every month. So I'm just like, so every month you're telling me that my left fallopian tube is passing a larger egg all the time? Something felt weird and wrong. And then in January, that pain was lingering all month long. I kind of just didn't do anything about it. I had given up. Other symptoms have been my tailbone pain that I thought was a soccer related injury, and it got so bad to the point where I couldn't sit, walk, or run my senior year of college. That year I barely played soccer, which broke my heart. That year I had to go to El Salvador to take care of my grandmother who was ill and then shortly passed away. While I was in the hospital, sitting down was just excruciating. Nothing helped. Almost took like 2,000 milligrams sometimes and it just wasn't helping. Other symptoms are like the very extreme fatigues that I had that I thought was just depression or mental health related. I also found out that the shoulder blade pain that I have like on the cusp of the shoulder blade is also endo related. And also recently, very recently, I usually wear earplugs in the airplane rides because my ears pop and they get really painful. And they started to just kind of like squeeze and pop out. And I thought it was the pressure, but then I also noticed that with my headphones, they just pop out. And I was like, oh man, I must have a lot of earwax or something. But apparently it's also a sign of thoracic endo. And then possibly the exercise-induced asthma that I have may be also another thoracic endo situation. All in all these things separately, I didn't know could be one thing. None of my doctors could put all of these things together. Some of them I don't blame because I went to them for isolated incidents, but someone like my gyno or my PCP, they knew all my aches and pains. Also intercourse has been painful for years, and my gyno kind of was just like, and I was telling her, I'm like, listen, like I just haven't had intercourse in like, and so I'm just getting personal, like I hope this helps someone one day, but I'm gonna share the story because I didn't know. That's also a sign of endo, painful intercourse. And my gyno was she just got a cotton swab and then rubbed it in there, and that's painful. Hello. First of all, I don't think it wouldn't be painful for anybody. And she's like, oh, I barely touched it and you flinched really hard, so try coconut oil lube. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Whenever they would use the wand to like check me and stuff, it would hurt. Like my lower abdomen felt like in such excruciating pain. It was just disgustingly horrible. And those pains and symptoms happened like 3-4 years ago. So after college and after like excruciating exercises, things just got continuously worse for me. I felt like my body was deteriorating. I couldn't hike because of the lower back pain. Working out hurt. I'm a very active person. I couldn't run. I couldn't speed walk. If I ran or played soccer, I knew mentally I couldn't walk for the next few days. I just couldn't walk. It just hurt so bad. Those are just some symptoms of what my endo situation is. But let me tell you how I kind of fell into getting diagnosed and having surgery, which was a very interesting way. And I believe in miracles. I believe in it is written, right? Your story happens the way it's supposed to happen. I was thinking back, just like a few minutes before recording, I was like, okay, like I met this person through this person, but how did that happen? And it was because earlier this year, I made stickers, right? I made these freaking stickers. These Cipote Coloche stickers. I made these freaking stickers. I posted it on my story and I tagged a few big Salvadoran Instagrammers. Salvis Unidos, Cipotes, yada yada. And through there, I got a few followers, right? I got a lot of followers. One of them was Salvis Mujeres. We followed each other, we talked, and then Salvis Mujeres made a post about like celebrating women, and she added me. They added me through there. Endo Cipota followed me, and then I talked to her a little bit and was like, hey, what's up? What's up? That same month in March, she had a showing. It was a free screening of Below the Belt for endometriosis, and we chatted and I liked her. We liked each other and I wanted to support her. And funny enough, I didn't know I had to get a ticket. I thought she just went. Silly me. The day before, she wrote a note on Instagram saying sold out, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh shoot. And I told her, I'm like, hey, like I didn't know we had to get tickets. I'm so sorry. Like if by any chance you have any 2 extras or somebody drops out, please let me know. I want to go with my best friend who has endometriosis and support you, obviously. And then luckily she got me 2 tickets and I was like, okay, we're going. And this is in Brooklyn, and I usually don't ever go to Brooklyn for anybody, so I knew this was very important. I kind of didn't want to go because I was having car issues, but I made it there anyways. Watched through the full screening and my mind blew of what endometriosis really is, how hard it is to get diagnosed, how messed up the healthcare system is. Ironically enough, the next day I did have an interview with Endo Cipota Natalie. I was interviewing her for my podcast and we talked about what endo was. Right after the screening, my best friend turns to me and she goes, we should get you checked out for endometriosis. And I was kind of like, I didn't say anything because endometriosis is such a big thing. It's bigger than what we know that it is. And after getting all that information, I just rather not think that I have endometriosis and kind of like deny it and move on with my life, or just I'll figure it out in my own time. But the next day I did have the interview with Natalie, and after her interview, I told her about my symptoms and stuff. And we talked, and she's the one who asked me, do you have shoulder pain? And do you have lower back pain? And I was like, whoa, like I do. What are you telling me? And those were endo symptoms. And I was just like, that's crazy. Because I was going to tell her that. I didn't think those were symptoms. She told me they were without me telling her my medical history. Like, I have chills. Like, I have freaking chills right now. To be vulnerable after that call, I cried for hours because I was like, I knew that I had endo at that point. Pretty sure that I did. She told me that she thought I did. I cried for hours. I felt like I was mourning what I knew. I was mourning my body. It was just a lot to take in all at once. Shortly after, I had my boyfriend also watch Endo What, just free, I believe, online, or a few dollars on Amazon. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But yeah, it's like if you don't know what it is, it's like, okay, it's another uterine or woman's disease, right? Like, but no, it's not. I cried a lot, and then I went to work immediately right after. I was like, all right, who do I see? Who do I talk to? I got a free consultation with Dr. Andrea Vidali. He is based in Manhattan and also I think Melville. One thing to note that is that endometriosis is it's so under research. So not even gynecologists really know that much about it. from what I've learned. So it's very important when you get diagnosed with endo, you go to an expert. And Dr. Vidali is an expert endometriosis surgeon. And there's only very few people in the country or in the world actually that are experts on endometriosis and are experts on surgery. Like, this is all that Dr. Vidali does, like endometriosis excision surgeries all day, every day. It's very important to not be scammed and not and do your research and talk to people. And I'll drop all these resources down in the description. It's important to not just take your gynecologist's word for it. You gynecologists just throw things out there that they don't know sometimes. And I've gotten so many people who told me, oh, I have endo too. But from what I've learned is that endometriosis could only be diagnosed through surgery because you need to see if you have the lesions inside. You can't just know you have endo or be told you have endo. I urge you to talk to a professional. Dr. Vidali and a lot of other doctors do free consultation calls via telephone. It's very, very convenient, I would say. And he's a very kind person. These things do get expensive though. Insurances that they accept are very limited. But there are other sources. Like, I know some people fly out to Mexico or California or other places. It's just our healthcare system kind of sucks right now. But if you're in pain and like, regardless, I think you should go see a surgeon, because from what I understand and I know, from what I know is that endometriosis just gets worse over the years and could damage a lot of internal organs. It's not a uterine disease, it's a full body disease, as they say, that as I've learned. So I did my free consultation, and then I did an in-person consultation where we talked a little bit more. Dr. Vidali checked in with the wand to see some endo. Other symptom that I forgot is also frequent urination, like a bladder issue. Also, from what I've seen online, that's also a symptom. But when Vidali checked me, Dr. Vidali checked me, he told me that my ovary is pushing against my bladder. Something that time and time again, my gyno never told me or saw. To say that I'm salty or mad is an understatement, because I've had a bladder issue since college. Like, when I tell you, I can't drink anything when I'm driving, like 30 minutes before I'm driving, nothing, not even a sip, because it goes right through me. I've had accidents, not accidents, but where like I've had to pull over the side of the road on the middle of the highway, find a bag like to pee in. It's been really bad. It's so unbearable. It's like not pleasant. It hurts. But now I kind of know why that's happening. That in-person consultation costs $900. It's fucking crazy expensive, let me tell you. But he is the expert here in my area, and I feel safe going to someone like that. Me and my partner want the best for me in the surgery. Not that nobody wouldn't. It's just we are in a privileged place where we can afford to pay those things or those prices. And I know a lot of people aren't, so I just want to acknowledge that. I know there's also Dr. Lou that's in the area, and I believe she is more affordable. I don't know what her in-person consultation costs. I do know that Dr. Vidali's surgery out of pocket is $9,700 something, but almost $10K, and Dr. Lou's is about $4,000-ish. From what I knew from when I called her this summer. The only issue with Dr. Lou is that her billing department never called me. Like, she scheduled them to call me the next day. I called twice. They said they would call me back. I followed up the next week. They said they would call me back. Never called me. I hit up Dr. Lou. She said she would do something to make sure that they called me. They never called me. So not Dr. Lou's fault. It's just from what I've also talked to other advocates, and they're like, admin front desk just is horrible. So what can you do? Luckily, my partner was able to gather the money for the surgery. I felt guilty and stuff, but I knew that I needed it. Guilty and not guilty. I told him we could push back the surgery date if we have to. I don't mind. But he insisted that it would be fine, and luckily we are in a place where we are fine. I will say that the insurance situation has been really, really hard, because I had state insurance for a while. I had to let that go. Even if I still had state insurance, they don't take state insurance, so I would have paid out of pocket. Luckily, when I had to let go of the state insurance, I had a secondary insurance alternative, which is called Impact Health Sharing. Health Sharing is a non-profit organization, so it's not like the insurance agencies that are I guess for profit. They cover you 90% of the cost after your deductible. So that's what I had already had. So luckily I'm using that for this. I know other advocates who have used health sharing to cover the cost of surgery. The issue is that you have to pay all of the money up front to Vidali's office. And then in like a few weeks, health sharing reimburses me whatever's left over. If I could explain it, the tier that I have, the deductible is $2,500. So I pay the 10K, right? And then after the 2,500 deductible is covered, Impact covers 90% of the cost. So I only have to pay 10% of the cost. So then they reimburse me the rest. But Dr. Vidali's office said that anything over 6,300 would need to be given back to them. So if I got 7,000, I would need to give them 700 because that would be the difference. That's a headache in and of itself. But yeah, healthcare sharing is an option. I know some insurances do cover it, which is wonderful. Another obstacle that I had to face is that I live in New York, and if I had my state insurance, I would have had to pay all the hospital costs out of pocket if I didn't have healthcare sharing. So since healthcare sharing was my secondary at the time, that would have been covered. But since I dropped the state insurance, healthcare sharing is still covering the hospital bill. Healthcare sharing is nationwide versus the state insurance, obviously, which was in New York State. Very lucky that I was able to find and have already healthcare sharing at the time. I'll also drop the link below. Full transparency, I do represent Impact, and people who sign up, I do get commission for. And they were a headache to just a back and forth with like what I need and in the communication and like, am I approved and I had to do the constant communication, and it was a headache. I'll be fully transparent. But if you're ever in a situation where like your insurance isn't covered and you need something else or something new, health sharing is, I think, a good option for a situation like this. I do pay around $2,000 a month for it, but I think it's worth it that after $2,500, 90% of my bill is covered, because I know that in the long run, I'm going to need endo pelvic floor PT, like specialized pelvic floor PT, and they are all also out of network from the ones that are in my area, and it just works out for me since they wouldn't have taken my insurance. I could just still bill it to Impact. So that's fully transparent. I want you guys to know that if you guys do have questions or do use it, the link below is my link. You could get a free quote there if you guys want to, but there's no obligation to do it. Like I said, there's a lot of other insurances. Like I think Aetna insurance is a good one. And they also approve this type of surgery. But yeah, I've heard of other stories where like insurances do cover this, which is wonderful. About the surgery, from what I know, is that it's laparoscopic. So I'll try to put a video here so you guys can see. It's going to be graphic, so like in like 5 seconds it's gonna pop up. So if you want to skip over it, I would say skip over it. So it's laparoscopic, so they make 3 little incisions, and then like the little machines go in, the little robot hands go in, and they move around your organs and like look around and look for the endo and then excise it. They do blow up your belly like a balloon to have room to do all that stuff, but like just imagine like your body's just like your internal organs just being tossed around and like touched and stuff. Like that's a lot of bruising and a lot of inflammation that you're gonna have to recover from. Surgery is gonna be from 1 to 6 hours, I believe it said in the packet, just because they don't know where it is. They have to look for it, and they don't know how much I have. So it's all those factors, and I have to ask them, please check my chest for thoracic, because I believe I have thoracic endo, and so do the advocates that I talk to. We're booking an Airbnb since it's a different state. We're gonna stay there overnight and maybe another night. But in terms of how I feel, try not to think about it. I think I'm not as worried or scared because I've done all my mourning earlier of my body and stuff. What I'm most nervous about is recovery, because I know it's 1 to 2 months. We have our 2 lovely cats, and I won't be able to run around or pick things up or bend down. I'm going to be indoors because I can't go up and downstairs. I'm going freaking nuts. So I'm going to be reading books, maybe take a certification or 2. I don't know. But yeah, so there's that. The recovery part is what I'm most nervous about. When I talked about this with my therapist, I told her that I didn't want anyone to know. And I didn't want to have that expectation of someone helping me, because past me would create all these scenarios and like, oh, I would want X, Y, and Z to help me ideally, or I would ask and get rejected because they're busy or whatever. And I didn't handle rejection well. So what I did and what I usually do to save myself, or just that's just in my nature now, I don't ask for help unless I honestly need it. I've become so independent to the point where like I know I don't need the help, and it's okay if I don't need the help. I'm okay if I don't need the help. And people have just volunteered to come over and help, which in my heart and in my mental state, or for my mental health, that's better than me going out of my way to ask and being rejected. So my cousin is going to go with us to Jersey and stay there, and like if I need anything, be there. One of my best friends offered to take off work to take care of me, and I told her no. Fucking sweetheart. I love her. My brother's just realizing that I'm getting surgery. I don't live with them, so they don't know unless I post about it, or if they see it and I post it. He said if I need anything, hit him up. His friend also said she'll call out of work to take care of me. My mom hit me up today and was like, oh, why is it so far? I was going to go with you, but since my cousin's going, it's nice to see people reaching out and being a support system. It does make me very emotional because like I don't accept or realize that the support system is there. I kind of reject it, or not reject it, but like part of my healing journey has been being okay being alone. And I am. But when people come and approach me and, you know, share their kindness and show their support, that's where I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe you guys actually like me. It's kind of like a delusional thing, right? Like I don't think I have the support system when I truly do. It's just sometimes you just don't see them until worst case scenario, or in case you really need them, which I think is the most important time to show up. If you really need someone and they show up, I think that's all that matters when you become an adult, because there's so many things happen. But yeah, it's been a little bit of an emotional ride these last few days because people actually want to see me. I'm so dramatic. People want to see me. They want to, you know, catch up before the surgery, hang out, which is very nice, and I appreciate it. But yeah, that's kind of like the gist of it. Hopefully I'll be fine afterwards. I'm also nervous about the drive back home. It's just like, I wish that it wasn't in Jersey. But I also know people fly out from Canada and other places to see Vidali. So I know I'll be fine. Things that I'm looking forward to do. I am super looking forward to riding my bike without pain, hiking without pain, lifting again, playing soccer. I'm actually excited to go running. And as a soccer player, sometimes that just becomes like your worst nightmare. But when something's taken away from you, you just want to do it. I can't wait to go running again and to be able to do it without any pains. I know our knees are going to hurt, we're old, but like my back pain was just, you have no idea. Excited to go rock climbing without pain, and just going to concerts. A lot of the source of my pain has been my lower back and my shoulder, and I just can't wait. I am excited to live my life without so much fatigue, or fatigue at all. Like I want it to be gone. But yeah, that is my endo story, and I hope this helps someone, because I didn't know all these things. Could have been one thing combined, and it's really sad because I know if I hadn't posted that sticker and I hadn't met Natalie from Endo Cipota, I would have never known. I would have still been struggling with this. And I think that's what gets me the most emotional, because it's by a fucking miracle that I found out I had endo. And now I have a wonderful endo community. Alicia has been a wonderful help. She is amazing. I will also drop her down below, but she's the one who made me realize that I definitely probably have thoracic endo. Both her and Natalie, but when she told me about the ear popping thing, and I was like, whoa. She also told me what I should be eating, what I should do afterwards. And sweetheart, she wrote down the date of my surgery. It's so fucking kind. There's another Salvadoran who has endo, or had endo. She had surgery for it, and she's following up and catching up with me and getting to know my story, and just being very holistic and like nice. And it's nice to have an endo support system and people who genuinely care. Freaking bless these human beings, bro. Like I wish I could shower them with love and money and support and all these things. The work that they're doing is unmatched to anything that I've ever seen. But yeah, that is the endo story. I will also drop their information in the description. I appreciate the well wishes. I'm going to be MIA a little bit from social media and from doing my work and services. Some services that I have that are opening up in November. will be my 11-week group program to help you take control of your life again and manage your anxiety and emotions. The waitlist will be dropped down below. Also, my VIP days, everything that you're not learning in therapy in terms of anxiety toolkits, how to manage your panic attacks, create smart mental health goals, and create a sustainable plan for the next 6 months. That's all done in one day. That's called the VIP day. That will probably open up mid to end of November, probably beginning of December, but I will also drop a waitlist for that down below. And lastly, the therapy search, that is going to be opened up mid-November. I probably won't be taking consultation calls for that. That is just a pay in full or do a payment plan option for those things. And there is an application there where I ask you everything that I would ask you in a consultation call, and I'll work on that the next business day after you do the payment. That comes with a customized document that has all your preferences for the right therapist, your smart mental health goals, and also interview questions that you could ask your therapist. If there's any questions that I need or have to be answered for the therapy search, I will correspond with you via email. But those are the services that I have. Program is going to have a sale in November. It's going to be 25% off. And for the program, I think I'll be accepting 5 students. Just I really love intimate small groups, just so support system, get to know each other and grow. And the program will start January 17th. I hope that answers any questions and any doubts. I love you guys for listening all the way through. I appreciate you guys all. I'm in a happy place. I am so privileged to have my partner and my friends, my support system, my family, my little kitties that are gonna just hopefully shower me with love and not be mad at me. But yeah, thank you again. I'll see you guys in like a month. Bye.